said to me that people outside of my family, outside of the circle that I saw on a day-to-day basis, cared enough about me and my potential future to invest in it. And so the fact that the Civic Council does that on behalf of the students in the neighborhood that are graduating, that shows such tremendous promise, just says a lot about the organization and the kind of values that you have. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why this award means a lot to me. Obviously, Fifth Avenue Committee got started in Park Slope 37 years ago, and many people here have been in the neighborhood that long. Others are newer, but it was obviously a very different time, both in New York City and in the neighborhood. A lot of abandoned buildings, a lot of vacant lots, and obviously Fifth Avenue Committee. It was really a group of neighbors that were very diverse, both racially and socioeconomically, that came together and said we want to revitalize the community, but do so in an inclusive way. Fast forward 37 years later, we're still here in Park Slope, and we absolutely still have a core constituency that we serve, primarily of low and moderate income folks. And quite honestly, we at this point own and manage pretty much the only existing affordable housing stock that exists in the neighborhood. But what that means is, as the neighborhood has improved, that the families that are in those properties are benefiting from the access to opportunities that are being provided as the neighborhood improves. And obviously on the side of the work that we do, which is really investing in people's education and training and access to opportunities, the idea is that they'll be able to not only move into neighborhoods like Park Slope, but remain in New York City, honestly, and benefit from the opportunities that are presented. So, I deeply appreciate the award, and quite honestly, I really appreciate the fact that the Civic Council was one of the early leaders on the Atlantic Yards fight. And it's not necessarily a natural alliance between, quite honestly, middle income and upper middle income, primarily white homeowners, right? And organizations and advocacy groups that care a lot about affordable housing and low and moderate income folks, primarily of whom are folks of color. But again, it says something about the values of the organization and about the kinds of community that you want to promote, to have inclusion, that the Park Slope Civic Council was really one of the leading groups from the day one in Brooklyn Speaks to call not just for the affordable housing to be built and be built in a timely manner, but also for the transparency and the accountability that needed to happen. And so I want to thank you for that. I don't take that for granted. As someone that leads a social justice organization, the reality is we need allies. We absolutely need allies in order to really realize the vision of the kind of society and the kind of city that we want. And so I deeply appreciate it. So keep up the good fight.